now. We're going to talk about defunding the police. How do you feel about that?
I support it.
What's your take and why?
I support it. And the reason why I support it is because, a lot of times we get caught up in my chief of police is the bomb.com, so we don't have no problems because our chief is good. But I'm looking at things from a 30,000-foot point of view now. And, Detroit has been blessed to have community-oriented chiefs, regardless of whether you like them or not. I think if you're really honest, our chiefs have been in touch with the community and have been community-oriented. But the reality is 18,000 police departments in the United States of America, and one chief can't change systemic racism. One chief cannot change structural racism. The criminal justice system is completely broke, and it was never designed for black and brown people. So regardless of how noble you are when you join the profession, and you can have the best intentions, structurally, policing is designed to keep the foot on the neck of black and brown people. So if you look at George Floyd, and everybody, is like, is Derek Chauvin going to be convicted? Yeah, he was. So now we got Ronald Green. A trending hashtag was beaten to death by Louisiana state troopers. Ma'Khia Bryant in Columbus, Ohio, shot to death by the police. Dante Wright, quote unquote, mistaking a taser for a gun, shot to death. So if you keep doing the same thing the same way and expect a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So when you talk about defunding the police, what I'm saying is that you had to know the history of the police and the foundation of policing in the United States of America. The first organized police departments in the United States were slave patrols, and their job was to control black and brown people because they were property. They were property. Let's get that correct. They were property, and they controlled them through fear, violence, and intimidation. So if you really look at what policing is now, so you go from slave patrols, to the Emancipation Proclamation, and then you go to Reconstruction. For a period of time, black people started to ascend a little bit in the South. But then you got Jim Crow. And police have been the instrumentation of, en masse. Don't get so, attached to your police department and you love your chief and you love your city. That's fine. But you can't just exist inside the boundaries of Detroit. So now, if you really are honest, if we just really take a deep breath and think about it, what's the difference between the slave patrols and now? Because black people are still being controlled and over-policed through fear, violence, and intimidation. So I would suggest that if police were the answer to the crime problem, then and locking up black people was the answer, because black people are over-incarcerated because we're 12% of the population, but we're close to 40 to 45% of the prison population. So if that were the answer, why isn't Detroit safer now? Why is it, that we get excited about 250 homicides as opposed to 300? I mean, that's ludicrous. So we still have not made a dent in the real structural issues that have caused the lives of black and brown people to be less than, from a quality standpoint, that of our counterparts in white communities. So I will ask this question. I dare anybody to really challenge it. If you go out to Grosse Pointe, Royal Oak, West Bloomfield, Birmingham, any of the affluent suburbs around Detroit, I don't feel safe because I see police all over the place. I don't feel safe because I see, people stretched on cars and cars pulled over and red and blue lights. As a matter of fact, they discourage that because that's bad for business. But I feel safe because I see clean streets. I feel safe because I see manicured lawns. I feel safe because I don't see burned out homes where you have stretches of homes that have not been demolished. I don't see grass growing above, the height of a small child. So safety is not, and we got to redefine what public safety is. So I'm really tired of putting Band-Aids on gunshot wounds, thinking that if we fix the police departments, that we fix our communities. No, that is absolutely untrue. We have structural deficits. If you don't address the wealth gap, which a white family's wealth is 10 times that of a black person. Social demographers and economic experts have said that it would take 200 to 300 years for black people to make up the wealth gap if circumstances stay the way they are.